Canada's foreign minister meets with Libyan rebels. This is your weekday update from CorbettReport.com for the 28th day of June 2011. Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister John Baird met this week with the leadership of Libya's National Transitional Council, the rebel organization based in Benghazi that is claiming to be the sole representative of all Libya. Despite media-friendly rhetoric about bringing unity and democracy to the country, the council represents less than half of Libya's 141 tribes and conducts all of its meetings in secret without keeping minutes of the proceedings. Critics note that the group's leadership consists almost entirely of elitist, Arab, pro-Western businessmen with American PhDs. Some of the NTC's first official actions were to form a central bank to act as monetary authority over a country they do not control, and to establish a corporation to make contracts with foreign governments for oil in rebel-held territories. In an apparent attempt to give the insurgency more legitimacy, Baird declared the council Libya's best hope for a democratic government, positing that no government can be worse than the Gaddafi regime, before hastening to add that there will be challenges in the transition and that Libya is not going to move from Gaddafi to Thomas Jefferson overnight. The visit comes after Canada's precedent-setting move last week to officially recognize the NTC as the representative of the Libyan people, effectively affording it an equivalent diplomatic standing to the actual government of Libya. As former Middle East diplomat Louis Delvoye told the Toronto Star, "We've been sympathetic to revolutionary movements before, but didn't recognize them. Even though we had a well-established policy of opposing apartheid, we never recognized the African National Congress." The move represents Canada's attempt to foster a diplomatic process to back up their military support for the extrajudicial assassination of a leader of a foreign country and the overthrow of a sovereign nation's government. The Canadian Parliament voted 294-1 earlier this month to extend Canada's military involvement in Libya for a further 3 months, with members of the Conservative government and the left-wing NDP opposition uniting in support of a so-called humanitarian mission to drop bombs on civilian populations. Just last week, NATO was forced to admit that their mission to support the Libyan people accidentally flattened a 2-story house, killing 2 children and 7 adults. Canada has so far committed 650 troops, 7 CF-18 fighters, and a frigate to the campaign. Meanwhile, the International Criminal Court has proceeded with an ICC prosecutor's request to issue an arrest warrant for Gaddafi, his son, and his brother-in-law for alleged crimes against humanity. The warrant cites ICC prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo's brief last month, alleging that Gaddafi issued verbal orders to shoot civilians at opposition rallies. The brief relied exclusively on second-hand reports, and no one from the prosecutor's office actually visited Libya to confirm its veracity. Moreno Ocampo also alleged that Gaddafi ordered mass rapes of women and ordered containers full of Viagra-type drugs for his troops. The allegation has since been shown to have been entirely fabricated, with no evidence whatsoever to support the claim. No word yet on whether the ICC is going to issue arrest warrants for Tony Blair and George Bush over the Downing Street memo, a leaked government document that proves Bush and Blair had decided on military action against Saddam Hussein as early as July 2002, and then premeditatedly lied to the public to justify that action. NATO also has yet to comment on whether it is prepared to launch a humanitarian bombing of Washington over Barack Obama's claims that he has the right to assassinate American citizens anywhere in the world at any time without trial or oversight. For a transcript and link to the sources cited in this news update, please go to CorbettReport.com.